Right, back out in the forest today. So somebody the other day asked me whether my, what I call the set it and forget it fires, you can actually set it and forget it. Well, I'll show you a trick to doing that. I've got a couple of bits of wood here that didn't burn up last time, so I'm going to get rid of those today. In between them, I've laid a whole bunch of smaller stuff. And then I'm going to put some logs across the top way, exactly the same. And I'm going to put some small stuff between them and light the fire on top. And then once you light it, you shouldn't have to touch it. So that today's challenge is going to be, once it starts, once I've got flame on the top, I ain't going to touch it. And just see how far it gets. Right, and we will see whether set it and forget it is actually true. So, the fire is built. And I will say this, same as I say every single time I have a campfire. If you're going to have a campfire, before you light the fire, know how you're going to put it out. I have a whole bunch of snow off to one side. And I have probably 3 or 4 litres of water in there as well, which is going to go on there. But I have a whole bunch of snow over there. That snow over there is probably still a foot deep, so yeah, I've got plenty of water, plus I have 2 litres of water with me anyway. Right, so all I've done, build it up in layers like I normally do. A couple of layers on the top. I have a cotton ball down in there. Trick's going to be to see if I can get a cotton ball to actually land on that. That's going to be the tricky bit. And once that cotton ball goes, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it and see what it does. So let's see what we can do. Let's set this up over here. Tricky bit's going to be in that to actually land on that cotton ball. I'm not sure that's going to work that well because I've got aim pretty close there. That's going to be the tricky bit. Get the spark to land exactly where I want it. Did it land? Yes, it did. Right. As always, make sure all your tools are away. Now, the rule for today is I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to let it go. I do have some extra firewood stashed up over here. I'm going to let that go and see what it does. Set this up over here out the way. Yeah, bit of an experiment. Today is about just being out in the forest and letting the crazy world drift by. So, let's put my pack here, I think. Belt. Bear spray is very handy. It's literally right there. Reason being, bears are all waking up. They're all hungry. They're really groggy. I have bear spray there. I have this thing here. Let me tell you, this very good for cutting firewood. But anything jumps on you out the bush, that is also a very handy tool. Talking of which, because this is cougar country up around here, and them buggers will sneak right up on you. Very, very rarely will a cougar ever come anywhere near a human. It's got to be extremely rare, and it'd have to be a really odd situation for that to happen. However, not always a bad idea. That is going to sound stupid, but cougars will generally ambush from behind, and the back of the neck is where they're going for, because they know that with one bite they can incapacitate what's the name. So if you're going to have a knife with you for that purpose, straight over your shoulder, don't even question it. Something jumps on your back, straight over your shoulder, don't even think about it. So this, even though you're right-handed, needs to be where your left hand is. Yeah. Right. Oh, that is good. As you can see, so far I've said it and I can forget it. But we shall see. Yeah, it's going to flare up a little bit because I got some of that Spanish moss, or whatever they called it, old man's beard, or whatever there is in there. There's a bunch of that in there. We will keep an eye on it. We are supposed to get an absolute deluge of snow and rain and that tomorrow, which is another reason why I'm out here today. And I was planning to come tomorrow actually, but it's a good occasion to come today. Less said about that the better. I'll explain later. But today is a good day to be out in the forest, good day to just be sitting here enjoying this. We shall see how it goes. Yeah. So far I can see the fire spreading down a little bit in there, but what you need is the temptation, of course, when you're lighting a fire. You've just arrived at camp, you want something that you can set up and just leave it, just let it get on with it. So you have a source of heat, so you're not freezing your rear end off. You have a source of heat, so you've got something you can work around. If you were planning on spending the night, this also gives you the opportunity to build up a good supply of coals and hot logs and hot rocks. So all the rocks I've got around the front here, the last video I did here, you couldn't even see them rocks. But if you were spending the night, you'd move those out. You'd be sleeping roughly where I've got my bench now, and but you'd have to have longer logs. I have plenty of longer logs and that all stashed up in the bush here. These are what I call like daytime fire logs, the little short ones like this. The longer ones that are about this big or whatever, or bigger, they're the ones that you need for overnight. So, and quite a few of them too, because this pine doesn't burn for long. Yeah, it burns pretty hot, but it doesn't burn for long. And we don't have, around here, we don't have a good supply of hardwood and stuff. It's mostly pine. Yeah, but it does burn, as you can see. So my goal is, normally when I light a fire, you'll see me tending the fire and putting bits on it and all this kind of stuff. Well, today I'm trying to make sure that I don't, because that's the whole object of the fire. Set it, forget it. There's two kinds of fires that are really fires that people should practice and should understand, and this top-down fire is one of them. Yeah, because set it and forget it, top-down, pyramid fire, whatever you want to call it. It's, if you make a teepee fire, you're forever putting wood on the damn thing to keep it going. So you're having to work at keeping the fire going. This, you light it, you don't worry about it. As you can see, I haven't had to worry about that at all. I'm keeping an eye on those little sparks coming off. There's not much small stuff in there, so it will die down. I don't want big flames. I don't want big flames at all. I want embers. I don't want big flames. All these trees around here are absolutely bone dry, which anybody that ever watches my videos will know that that's why I clear off a lot of the low-hanging stuff, because the fire that's on the ground is much easier to take care of than the fire that's in the canopy. So once the fire gets up in the canopy, then you're really in trouble. I was watching on the news there and what have you, in one of our local towns here, a place called Canmore. They are installing big fire breaks because of the massive fires that we had out at Jasper. They are installing huge fire breaks. That does two things. Firstly, let's not beat around the bush. There's money to be made in doing it, and the way that money is made is obviously they're clearing out the logs. They can sell the timber, whereas normally they would not be allowed to log those areas. So yes, there's a financial gain, and everybody's saying, oh, they're just logging it to make money. They're not. They're building a fire break, and that does two things. It turns some of the wood into profitable materials. You can turn it into stuff that we need, which is something that everybody needs. Everybody bitches about cutting down trees, but then everybody wants to build a fence around their garden. So guess what? You know, you've got to have wood from somewhere. Better to have it sustainably managed than just complete and utter clear-cut garbage, right? So that all gets cut. 5 years from now, that'll all be lush, green, brand new trees, nice and low. That stuff is great for wildlife. You've removed all the fuel load. You've made a really good fuel break between the forest and the town, because it's not a case of is Banff and Canmore going to burn down. It's a case of when, because I don't know if you've ever been to those places, and a lot of people have, but they're absolutely surrounded by forest that has not been cleared up, not been touched, has had no man management in decades, and it's just a fire waiting to happen. That's the problem. So hats off to Canmore. They are actually doing something about it, and yes, they are making money out of the timber. Absolutely, somebody's got to make money out of it somehow. It costs a lot of money to run those machines. Are like $1 million machines, right? Somebody's got to pay for that. So you're using the product, you're clearing out the fire load, you're creating great habitat, because a huge forest full of great big trees, yes, it looks lovely and it's great for the tourists, and that's why it's never been cut. However, because it does look very good on the tourist brochures, however, it is a major fire hazard. So it's better to remove that risk or reduce that risk than it is to have the town burned down, which is what happened up at Jasper. So lesson learned, let's do something about it, and they are now actually doing something about it. It will, in 5 years' time, be an absolutely amazingly green habitat full of wildlife, because there'll be deer in there, there'll be way more wildlife in there in 5 years than there is now. So there's always that to remember. So yeah, as you can see, fire is settling down a little bit. The big logs that I got in there are doing their thing. So let me bring the camera around and show you. And this is what you want. This is how you want to have a fire. See, I haven't got to do anything with that. It's all stacked up. It's burning good. I've got a good fire going now. So if I was setting up camp and getting ready for days camping and all that kind of stuff, I could now be setting up my tent. I set up my shelter, putting everything together that I need together, and I ain't got to worry about the fire. Like I say, that was the thing, is just basically set it, forget it, and don't worry about it. Yeah. Now I am going to go and collect up a bunch of that snow that's over there, because although I have a bucket of water, I would rather have a whole mess of snow here as well. So let me go and grab some of that, and I'll be back in a second. I just filled up a little bucket there with some snow. This container, I've had this out here for some time, and it had actually split in the bottom, so I filled it with snow today, turned it into a little scoop, filled it with snow, and I will use that as a help me put the fire out thing later, so we won't worry about that. One of the comments in the video I did recently about the BPS Adventurer bushcraft knife, the guy made a great point. He said compared to a Mora, Mora's different steel and all that kind of stuff, which I totally agree with. Mora knives are fantastic. I got loads of them. Anybody who watches my stuff will know. But this thing, it's a Gerber, and I have to say, for what I do, for a lot of the stuff that I do, this thing is insanely good. I've had it a long time. I've had several people ask me if I want to sell it, and I won't sell it. I've had it a long time. But it is an incredibly strong knife. It throws good sparks. It was a well-designed knife. I know there was a big hoo-ha at the time about the guy's name that was on it, but I can tell you now he didn't get to do the job that he did by being an idiot. It's far from it. That's actually an extremely difficult job to do. So this has actually been an incredibly good knife. I love it. The whistle on it, yeah, it's not as good as my other whistles. I got Fox 40s. I don't think you can really beat the Fox 40. I think the Fox 40 is probably the gold standard for out in the middle of nowhere whistles. I mean, this thing, yeah, it has a reasonable whistle on it. But it's a great little knife. I love this thing. The guy did make a comment about the Moras. The point on this is reasonably, can't answer, it's reasonably sharp. Silky saws, everybody knows that I'm a great fan of silky saws. This thing, I never go anywhere without this thing. This thing has cleared more trail, cut more firewood than, well, I don't know. I used to have the little fold up, bow saws. I have two in the back of my car, which have basically sat in there and done nothing for, I don't know, couldn't tell you, 8 years. I couldn't even tell you the last time I cut up a piece of wood with one of those saws. 10 years ago, easily. Ever since I bought this thing. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. I did bring some food with me today, and I did remember my toasty fork, so yes, I do have some sausage rolls for later. Oh, it's cold water, I tell you. That is really cold. It's only, I think it's only -2 today, and it's lovely. Look at it, -2 and no wind. The last video I did here, the wind was howling and the trees were beginning to shake pretty bad, and it was time for me to leave then. The piece of forest I have to walk through to get out of here, this is short trees. These trees are only, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 feet tall, something like that. But the other bit of forest that I have to travel through to get out of here, they're a lot bigger. Trees are a lot bigger, and those things will just snap on you in the heavy wind. So as you can see, my set it and forget it fire is doing very, very well. The temptation is to just feed some more firewood. You've no idea how hard it is for me to sit here and not put firewood on that fire. But I'm going to leave it. I'm going to set it and forget it, and let's see what happens. Now, I do have, if remembered, the piece I cut off of the box. By the way, I am going to take this home. This is all the plastic crap, that's all coming out with me today. It's been out here for about 3 years, so yep. And my trusty axe in case I need to split up some wood. In here I have a spare bear spray, and if I can find it, not been able to get my favourite trail mix for a while, but it's back. Yeah, so it's hard to beat trail mix because you've got peanuts, raisins, and the best bit, the little chocolate Smarties. Surprising how much energy this stuff gives you. My fire's starting to smoke a little. So I may have to just push the ends in. That is basically how easy it is to get these going. Not difficult at all. If I push the ends in a touch, it reduces that gap. That one's hot. And that is set it and get it fire. Now this wood is, like I say, this is not good hardwood. I don't want any stretch of the imagination. If it was, it takes a lot longer to get down into the bottom. But I don't want too much smoke, so what I'm going to do is I am actually going to mess with this fire a little bit. I've just moved the ends in. As you can see, the flames are coming up. I don't want a huge amount of smoke. So I don't like a big smoky fire. So I will sit and enjoy some of my trail mix there and get back to you tomorrow. Yeah, a great way to spend the day, eh? Gonna feed a few small pieces in here just to get rid of some of this smoke. But again, the great advantage of this kind of fire is it's very easy because you've got so many gaps in there, just to add some pieces. Didn't bring tea today. For anybody that was hoping for my usual tea shot. Now you notice I do have my spikes on, because this time of the year it can be clear like this, or it can be hard packed snow. Now this is more of a south facing side, So as you can see, it's kind of cleared out. But everything on the north side, solid packed ice and snow. Literally solid. You'd have one hell of a job getting in here without spikes. That's better. Got a good fire now. Kicking off some reasonable heat too. Save some of that for later. Oh yeah. Might actually bring that round. Touch. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, what I'm doing now is picking up some of the carbon from the last fire that I had here and sticking that in there. Because I can tell you now, it will actually burn remarkably well. It hasn't finished combusting, that's for sure. Yes, that's a nice warm fire now. I'd say it is -2. There's no wind, so that's nice. I was here the other day, the wind was just like there. It's horrible. Yeah. That's better. The difference, that 1 foot difference between where the chair was and where it is now, makes a big difference. You wouldn't think it does. You see all these people making these videos and they're, you know, -20. You've moved back a foot from the fire. Makes a big difference. I know I've mentioned it in some of my other videos and I'm going to mention it again. The proliferation of these ridiculous bloody clickbait videos. -20, no tent, you know, middle of nowhere, winter storm, -20. Don't do it. Really, seriously, don't do it. If you want to see the realities of doing that, just nip on over to Survival Russia. He's done several videos of actually camping out in -20 with no sleeping bag and stuff and what have you. And I can tell you now, he always has his survival gear with him. And I know in one of his videos, the object of the exercise was to try and use minimal gear, but he had to use it. So if you don't have that stuff with you, and you get out there, you get into trouble, you die. You fall asleep, you die. Yeah. So please don't think that it's easy to do that. Everybody likes to have these sensational videos because it gets more clicks and more views, and it's good for the channel, and you know, good for advertisers. That's all that is good for. Advertisers love it. However, the reality is, if you start messing around with -20 cold, it will kill you if you don't know what you're doing, and more importantly, if you don't have the right gear with you. What I have with me today in -20, I'd be in trouble. I know we don't have any -20s coming. If there was a possibility of a -20 overnight, trust me, I'd have a lot more gear in that pack. Yeah, I carry all kinds of survival gear with me. It's going to be that cold, because you never know. Yeah. And you only get to make a mistake once. And with that kind of cold, you don't even know you made the mistake. And you fall asleep. There's a golden rule. If you suddenly wake up violently, boom, wide awake, do not go back to sleep, because that is your body telling you that you're about to die. So should that ever happen to you, you violently wake up, and it is very violent. wake up violently, get a bloody big fire going, keep stoking that fire, get lots and lots of heat, build up a big ass fire, and stay by it, yeah, because you are in trouble. Two kinds of fires that you really need to know. This kind, set it, forget it, just let it do its thing. I haven't got to mess around with it much. The other one that will really save your ass in the day is the Siberian log fire. And again, if you want to see how it's done right, there's a couple of really good channels. Far North, Lanny, he did a thing on the Siberian log fire. He did a really good version of that. But if you want to see the best version of it, by far the best videos I've seen on the Siberian log fire is Lars at Survival Russia. So if you want to see how it's done, go watch those. Yeah. There are some good channels out there, but there's also a complete load of crap as well. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Yeah. Really great garage site. Just checking. We're out in the forest, always remember to check behind you. That's why you don't see me putting up the tarps very often. I mean, I do. They're always enough to keep the rain off me, but it doesn't interfere with my sight lines. You see these people putting up these nice tarps. Yes, looks great in the video. Looks very bushcrafty. However, I can't now see what's that way. I heard a noise. There's a lot of deer come through here. There's a big valley over here. There's a lot of deer come through here, so it could have been deer. If you stand up and make a noise, they quite often take off. So. That is good. Trail mixes is one of those food sources that you can take with you, but keep it going all day. Now, I have spent entire days out in the mountains. I did just see something move down there. I think we have deer up in here, because the valley will go across here, down the back there, and then down. There's a crossing that the deer use down through this way. You spend enough time in the mountains, you get to know where their highways are. I saw something move, and it was large, down through the trees down that way, but it was going that way, so it's fine. As long as it's not coming this way, I don't care. But it went that way. I bet you it was a deer. I bet you that's what I heard go across the back here. Yeah, we got the white-tailed deer in here and whatever. There's also elk and everything up in here. Yeah. We got elk, moose, bears, wolves, coyotes, you name it, squirrels. Bloody squirrels are the worst, I tell you. Yeah. But if that's not an easy file, I don't know what is. Yeah. I ain't got to do nothing with it other than sit by it and keep warm. It's good, isn't it? Yeah. Right, we'll give that camera a rest and do some more in a bit. The wood pile is getting down a bit. I say, this is an area that I come to fairly regularly in summer and winter. So anybody that's not seen my sawhorse, I'll explain again. This is just a branch, sharpened end, banged into the ground, tied to a tree, put that on there. I see people doing all kinds of crazy things behind the knees and all that. I never do that, it'll just break your knees. This works so well, you can just put your boot on it. Very easy. You can process a lot of firewood very, very quickly. And that is how easy it is. Cut that. Now this is a nice piece. So that I will put in the wood store. This I'll put back in my wood pile. And that is how easy it is. It's a great little sawhorse. It's people should use that. It's really good. I like to make sure if I come out here, like I say, if I'm coming through and I need fire now, I know I've got some nice dry wood there. I'll cover that up when I go. That's the close up of the sawhorse. Like I say, it's just a sharpened stick banged in the ground, tied to the tree. Little piece sticking out, gives you something to cut against. Put your boot on it. You'll see me do this all the time. Decent bits of firewood like these ones here. Got those in there. Somebody asked me the other day why I don't split up a lot of firewood. I know in a lot of these bushcrafty videos you see people swinging an axe and cutting up wood, and it all looks absolutely marvellous. And it's yeah, it's great if you've got great big round logs like those ones under there. But even them, these, if I was burning that size wood for an overnight, I wouldn't split it. Round wood takes longer to burn, much longer. Split wood burns faster. So yes, it looks great in videos, but if you want your wood to last a long time, don't split it up. It's like an onion. Yeah? If I look at this log here, these are the ones I just cut. They're only little, 2-3 inches. It takes a long time for that piece of wood to burn. But if you split it and let the fire get into the inside of the wood, let me tell you, burns fast. Yeah, so best thing to do is just cut it, stack it up, let it dry, and that'll sit there and dry out nicely now. I'll just cover that up in a minute. And then keep an eye on this. See how little I've had to do to this fire? Absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Like I say, there's 2 fire lays that everybody should learn. It's the set it and forget it, which is this one, and then the Siberian log fire. Like I say, best channel to see that on is Survival Russia, or Lanny up north, far north, Bushcraft I think it's called. Those are the 2 fires. They're the easiest, and they're actually extremely effective. Most people build TP fires and what have you, but you're forever working on them damn things just to keep them going, so better off doing this. Right, I have some sausage rolls. I'm going to let this fire die down, and I'm going to make myself some breakfast. Right. Make sure this is not setting up. Need that to put my fire out. I have a bucket of snow here as well. That will go on there. Like I say, always make sure before you light a fire you know how you're going to put it out. Always make sure when you make your breakfast that you don't burn it. What's that? Let's turn that over. There we go. Oh, that is such a nice warm fire. It really is good. As I say, it doesn't take much to keep it going. Don't have to do anything to it really. Just putting some of these bits of carbon in here from bits of charcoal from the last few fires that I've had. People always forget this stuff, although it's black, it still burns. Oop. No one's that fall off. There we go. Yeah. Like I say, when you're cooking food, you don't want huge big flames this high. Yeah. Oh, she's warming through nice. test the fire, put your hand in here. If you can keep your hand there too long, it's not hot enough for cooking. And then it becomes a nice easy fire to maintain. No great flames, you know. And you'll notice that the fire I build is within the fire ring. It doesn't fill the fire ring. A lot of people, when they build a fire, they'll build it right up to the rocks. Well, you end up with hot embers in amongst the rocks. So when you put the fire out, you don't know there's hot embers in there. And you get a strong wind come through and it blow it into all this dry stuff. Then you can have a fire. You know. Fire is an amazing tool. Keep you warm, keep you alive, cooks food, but it can also destroy, and very fast. Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier, when they're building the fire breaks up there at Campfire. Not a bad idea. There's a Wilson Forest Lands is the name of the channel, and if you want to learn about forestry, that's one of the best channels out there to watch. He's a bit of a comedian as well. He's got very dry humour, I warn you. He's got very dry humour, but he will actually teach you a lot of stuff about forests. And he has a really great expression. It's not my expression, I stole it off of Wilson there. And he says, we are preserving our forests to death. And he's absolutely spot on. You can't cut anything, you can't do anything, you know, you've got to leave the trees, save the planet and all the rest of it. But poor forest management is actually worse than doing nothing. Like if you continually put out fires and the fire load builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up. I will see if I can find some pictures of this site before I started camping here, because there was so much of this dead stuff right down to the ground. It was everywhere, loads of dead fall on the ground, all in here. But I have cleaned up a lot of it. The air can now travel through the forest. The sunlight gets through the forest. I can tell you now, in summer, this piece in here that I've cleared out and what have you, it's a lot greener. Yeah. I've noticed there is another deer trail through here. There never used to be a deer trail, but there is a deer trail just over there now. So even the deer in summer are finding the extra grass, so that's good. Yeah. So let's see how breakfast is doing. Let's give that a little bit of extra. Yeah. These sausage rolls, they're made in Calgary. These are amazing. I get these up at my local co-op. These are the spicy ones. They are so good. I've tried sausage rolls from other places, and I can tell you now, the only sausage rolls, hats off, the only sausage rolls that I've ever found that beat these, the Bonton Meat Market ones. Oh God, those are so good. They are really good. The Bonton Meat Market ones are better than these, don't get me wrong, they are way better. However, these, for me, they're cheap enough. I eat lots of these, lots of them. Yeah. The people that I work with always take the mickey out of me about my sausage rolls, but yeah, tell you. Oh yeah, that's good. That is a good hot cooking fire now. Yeah. Lots of good coals in there. In actual fact, that's a bit too hot now. Yeah. Oh yeah, be careful of that. Ooh, go away, smoke. Smoke's getting me. Let's get rid of the smoke. And that's how you get rid of smoke. There we go. smoke is gone. Well, most of it. So I had 8 small logs in there to start with. I'm now down to the 3 big ones in the bottom. Always build your fire up on a base. Never build your fire on the ground. Build it up on a base. Those base logs in there now, the 3 in the bottom, they're all bright embers under there. They're good. They're going to hold the heat for hours. I should really be sitting around the other side. Got a little bit of wind now, and it's coming up this way. That's good breakfast. I want to burn through all these logs before I go. So I shall be here a while. A bit of a cold at the moment. There's a really nasty flu bug going around. It hit Europe really bad, and we're beginning to get it here now too. Number of flu cases has really gone through the roof. So. Measles too. Whoever thought we'd have a measles return? Like, measles was one of those diseases that was so easy to control and almost eradicated, basically, for all intents and purposes. And then people stopped getting vaccinated, and hey presto, poof, we got this huge explosion of measles now. It's one of the easiest viruses to treat with a vaccine, and yet it's one of the most contagious out there. Let me tell you, you get a measles outbreak, you're in big trouble. Now, my generation, we always had the MMR, yeah, and we all had that. It was almost compulsory. But sadly, a lot of people think vaccines are bad for you, but they're not. Trust me, the world would be full of some seriously nasty diseases if we didn't have vaccines. People's memories are short. Just trying to turn that bottom one round a little touch if I can, without disturbing the fire too much. There we go. What I do with the fire when it's like this, when I'm getting ready to go, I've got the 3 logs in the bottom. What I'll do is I start turning them around and setting them on top of each other like this. It's going to be a while yet. Yes, very nice. Right, I'm going to sit and enjoy this forest. Turn that camera off, give it a rest. Fire's doing its thing. That's a nice hot fire now. I've got another sausage roll. I'm going to do that one up. I'm going to have that and enjoy that, and then I'll get back to you a bit later. Right, well, I put off eating my last sausage roll as long as I could with getting hungry. So sitting on the ground over there is one thing, but when I've got a nice comfortable bench here, I might as well sit on the bench and do it. This is way easier. That's why I like these extendable forks. They're very cheap. I got this one at Canadian Tire. smoke's a pain. I don't know if that smoke's coming up on the camera there much, but I really do need to move that bench, even though the wind needs to change around. I could put the bench over there, I guess. But you know what will happen? As soon as I move the bench, the wind will move. Yeah. Oh, that's a good cooking fire. Oh yeah. Don't get much better than this. Most people say, what do you do for relaxation and what have you? This is what I do. Yeah. Come out and do things like this. I'm glad I live in a country where I can come out and do things like this. I've got thousands of miles in any direction you want to name that I can just go and do this. Yeah. Literally, I can go anywhere here. Yeah. Crows over there. How are we doing? Yeah. She's warming up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this fire around in a minute. The big log that's in the bottom there, I'm going to lay up against it. That gives you a gap underneath and you can feed some wood in underneath there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's good. Mm. Now that is a good sausage roll, eh? Can't get no better than that. Mm. Everybody should do this. It is such a relaxing thing to do. Oh, I've got to try and turn that back log around in a minute. There you go. That wasn't too bad. Even without my usual tongs, I'd prefer to have my tongs for doing this, but you can do it that way. Alright, that's better. Yeah. Come on, that. Take that. Feet up in front of the fire there. Feet by the fire. I'd say it's only -2 today, so actually not bad. undo my my usual feet in front of the fire tea shot, so we will do the water bottle shot instead. Yeah, cheers people. Don't have tea today, didn't bring tea. Oh, that's good. And I still have some trail mix left. But if that is not a good way to spend the day, I think it is really. Yeah. Can get much better than that, eh? Campfire o'clock. Right, let me put this away. I'll do some more later. And that is exactly the reason that I don't like having too much campfire smoke. I did wonder, because it's been lingering in the trees. That guy just came literally 100 feet. Actually, I can see the trees moving. I can feel the downdraft off of that chopper. He came across so low. Yeah, they could see the smoke. This is why I don't like to have too much smoke on my fires, right? Because we do have a fire watch around here. And my guess would be, because I know that out that way the smoke has been sitting for a while. So if they see smoke, they send out somebody to check it out. I would not be at all surprised to find him come back round. And having said that, and this is what our fire watch system around here is actually insanely good. Yeah. That is why our fire watch system works. As I've said to you before, I don't like to have too much fire smoke. I can actually feel the downdraft off that helicopter. Yeah. So I'm guessing I know which fire station would have spotted that, and they just have somebody up in the out in this area. Yeah. they would have spotted the smoke in the trees, and that's exactly why he just came over. So apologies guys, but everything's under control now. That's why he came back round. They could see the smoke, because we do have a very, very bad fire situation at the moment, the forest and stuff, and I'm guessing those guys could see the smoke. Which is exactly why I have a very small fire. Yeah, just shows how effective it is though, eh? Because I know that the fire lookout from here, oh, he's coming back round again. Maybe he's not happy. There's no fire ban. We have no fire restrictions at the moment, so I'm good to go in that respect. He's over there. He's just making sure everything's good, and I very much appreciate you always doing that. My fire is actually currently in its way being run down to next to nothing. Yeah. That just shows you how effective our fire watch is, eh? Yeah. Well done. As I've said in some of my other videos, if they that's why I don't like to have too much smoke in my fires. If they see smoke, I know that the fire lookout from here is a good, oh my god, 10 kilometers as the crow flies. 8 to 10 kilometers is the nearest fire watch to here. I know that, and so they obviously smoke, because there's no wind, see, today. It's all just sitting in the trees, so it will look like there's smoke sitting in the trees, and I can see it over there. If you look over through there, like, see that? Just sitting in the trees. Well, those guys 8 to 10 kilometers away spotted that. So well done to the guys on the fire watch. Anastasia, if you're watching my videos, thank you very much to know that the system works. There's a lady called Anastasia Drummond that is pretty much in charge of all the fire situation and what have you in this part of the world. An amazing woman. She does a great job, and so do the air crews. So they were obviously checking, make sure there's not a forest fire. As soon as they saw some idiot sitting around a campfire, they probably thought, oh Christ. So well done guys. Yeah, but that's how quick they spot them. Yeah, so what I will do is I will separate all these logs out. They now know I'm here, so that's good. I will separate all these logs out. I will run this fire down. That's basically what I've been doing. I've just been running this fire down to nothing now. Just break all this up. Make sure everything is good. Last thing I'm going to do is bug the guys. Yeah, but they now know I'm here. They now know that this is a campfire and not a forest fire, which is good. Just shows how effective it is though, eh? Yeah. Good system. We have a good system here. We have to protect the forests, we have to look after the forests. Yeah. So he's off down. I know which valley he's gone down now. He's heading off down another valley. So, yeah. No, that's good. That's probably only the second time in 30 years I've been buzzed by a helicopter. Yeah. I've had small planes come over and take a look. Because if there's any aircraft, as I said in the past, if there's aircraft in the area, they'll send somebody over to have a look, just to make sure that everything is good. And that's exactly what he did today. So, yeah. I can hear him off over the valley over there. Probably thinking, what the hell is that guy doing out in the middle of nowhere? Because this is quite in the middle of nowhere. But thank you guys. My guess is these guys might be on flight training. One of my other videos that I showed a little while ago, there's flight training going on, and for like search and rescue. And this is around a mountain that most people really don't use. So I guess if they saw the smoke, they probably said, hey, while you're out there, nip over that area and have a look. As long as he doesn't come over with a water bucket in a minute and drop 5 ton of water on me. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Yeah. Rest assured, guys, this fire is now dying down. Yeah, they're buzzing around over that way as well for some reason. There is a mountain over there that they were doing flight training on the other week. So. Trouble is, when you're letting it die down like this, it does get really smoky. And that is exactly the reason I don't like smoky fires. Yeah. But it does show, however, that our fire watch system works. Yeah. You can't knock that. He come over so low I could actually feel the downwash off that prop. It was actually shaking the trees. Oh well, adds a bit of something to the video, I guess. Yeah. Right, we are literally just letting that die right down. What I want in here is basically nothing but charcoal when I finished, and once it's like that, I can soak everything down. I got snow, I got water. So this is why it's very important to make sure before you light a fire you know how you're going to put it out. And I know exactly how I'm putting this fire out. I've got another whole pile of snow over there as well, so we will take care of that. Just let this die right down and do some more later. I think he's coming back for round 2. It's nearly burnt down actually. Soak her right down in a bit. Not going anywhere for a good hour or so. It's good to know that these guys are out here watching all this, so that's good. Got to protect our forests, look after them. Oh, he's heading back out that way. I think these were probably the guys I heard on that training flight the other week, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, he's gone by now. He knows there's somebody here. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for checking though, guys. Thank you for checking. Much appreciated. Yeah. That's dying right down now. And this is exactly the reason that people, they get into trouble. They have a campfire like this and then they just walk away and leave it. Well, we'll never ever do that. What I'm looking at there, just that little pile of embers, that'll burn for probably 2 or 3 hours now. But what I'm going to keep doing is keep moving it around, burning off the ends, and then just crunch it up. So what I want to be left with when I leave here is basically just a bunch of charcoal that I can crush up, stir up. There's a whole bunch more snow over there which I'll be dumping on here when it goes, and I will literally fill the thing up with snow. Yeah, it won't be nothing, it'll be stone cold by the time I go. But this is why fire safety is #1. Whatever you do, you come out, enjoy the great outdoors and what have you. Protect the forest. Make sure you know what you're doing with your fire. Like I always say in every one of my videos, before you light a fire, know how you're going to put it out. Make sure you've got the ability to put it out. In my pack, I have my collapsible 20-litre fire bucket, the water bucket. However, the local creek is frozen bloody solid, so there ain't a lot I can do about that. But there is still quite a lot of snow on the ground, so I can use the snow, and I have the water in my big bucket over there, so that'll all be going on there when I leave. Yeah. So the other thing I do is I have my water bottle with me. This thing, I have this with me, and I always make sure I have enough to water in there when I get home. But there's no point in carrying home a whole bunch of water. You might as well just dump that on the fire as well. So make sure she's out. Yeah. Oh, that made for an eventful day. Yeah. Oh well. At least they're checking. 10 out of 10 for checking, guys. Yeah. Right. Let's let this burn down. I'm going to be here for about another hour or so anyway. So let that burn down and I'll show you what's left when I'm done. Right, everything's packed away. Bench is all put away. Fire is out. Fire's been out for about half hour, 45 minutes. Absolutely stone cold. So what I did is I put all that water in there, stirred it all up, filled it with snow from the snow bank over there, stirred it all up, poked a hole. Always poke a hole in the middle of the fire, like down in here, because that's where there's going to be, if there's any residual heat, that's where it's going to be. So I dug a hole down about 3 or 4 inches, absolutely stone cold in there. I can put my hand in there, see, nothing whatsoever, absolutely covered in snow. Yeah, that's how you leave a campfire. I see people walk away from campfires and it drives me absolutely bloody nuts, because there's no excuse for doing it. If you're going to light a fire, know how you're going to put it out. Around here we've got a lot of snow, and tomorrow we've got a whole bunch of snow coming as well. So this whole area will be covered in snow tomorrow. There'll be a whole crap load of snow here tomorrow. So that's how you leave a campfire. I covered it all in snow, about a 2-inch layer of snow in there as well. Emptied the water bucket on it, put about 2-inch layer of water in there. Snow, stirred it all up, and then dug a hole in the middle. Like I say, always dig a hole in the middle of the fire, because if there's any residual, that's where it's going to be, because it tends to get, that's the hottest part of the fire. So stone cold, that's how you leave a fire. The bricks, a little bit of warmth in the bricks. I mean, you can just about feel the warmth to the touch. But that's why you always have a fire within the ring. Never have a fire right up against the rocks, because you could end up with embers in amongst the rocks. And that's never a good plan, because you don't know if it could be a little ember in there that you can't see. So always have your fire within the circle, not up against the outside of the circle. Very important. And you should be able to walk in it. If you can't stand in your fire when you finish with it, if you can't stand there comfortably in like $200 boots, guess what? Your fire is not out. So make sure it's out. I've got a good supply of snow over there at the moment, which I've been putting on the fire. The broken bucket, I'm taking the broken bucket out with me today. I'm leaving the big bucket because I use that in the summer. So I've put all that away. Just make sure all this is good as gold. Make sure you leave nothing behind, no mess, no junk. But, I have my bucket hidden away over there. That's my big fire bucket. If you ever leave a fire bucket out like this, like I do, always put a stick in it. See, I've got a stick in there, like there's a branch in there. And the reason for that is, if anything falls in that bucket, like if a mouse or squirrel or something gets in that bucket, they can't climb up the inside of the buckets, right? So what you do is just leave a stick in it like that. So if any wildlife ends up in that bucket, it can climb back out again. Yeah. Right. Everything's covered up. Like I say, fire's been out a good 45 minutes to an hour now. Never assume that a fire is out. Make sure it is completely out. Because like I say, we have to protect our forests, look after our forests. They're an amazing asset, amazing resource. But it's something that one tree can make a million matches, but it only takes one match to destroy an entire forest. So thank you for coming along. That was an eventful day. Not often I get buzzed just above the trees by a helicopter, but literally I could have thrown a stone and hit that guy. Yeah. the downwash was actually just blowing the trees around, so that's good. At least he was checking. Hats off to you guys. If you ever watch this video, thank you very much for checking up. Right, that'll do for now. On I go.